we have to look at the positives. And the one positive is you made it home safely from your venture to Windsor and then into Detroit. Now, I got to tell you, I was driving, so I was listening to the game while driving, which is, it takes you back to being a kid. It's old school. It's fantastic and all that. And I'm sitting there driving, and I'm at Dundurn, coming back to Regina. Then I'm at Davidson, past it, and I'm like, how many times are they going to stall in the red zone? And I'm talking like on the 2-yard line. So when all this is going on, are you foaming at the mouth? Are you screaming? Are you throwing things at the stadium? What's going through your mind as they keep stalling in the red zone?
Well, I'm just like, okay, well, surely this is when we're going to run the ball.
Yes.
Surely this is when we're going to hand it off to Aaron Jones. This may be an opportunity for a screen. Hey, look, we can pitch it out to Ty Chandler or Cam Akers. Surely with 4 trips to the red zone, we're not going to throw a fade to the back pylon or force something into a tight window over and over and over. Thank you, Barney. I was having a great day. It was like they were just so hell-bent on doing it, quote-unquote, their way and showcasing their offensive playbook instead of like 2nd and goal to 3, 3rd and goal to 3, 4th and goal to 3. At some point, just run it. Just run the football.
Are you worried on how Darnold looked in the big game there and how he might look in Los Angeles?
My bigger concern is, did Detroit kind of write up the blueprint on how to slow down Sam Darnold? They brought a lot of pressure. They hit him. But more than that, Barney, Darnold was holding the ball for 2.5 seconds. Here's somebody who's had success having a little bit of time in the pocket, making some reads, making some throws. He was never comfortable. He was under siege the entire night. If you're watching on the stream, you're seeing it. And it wasn't just the sacks. It wasn't just the pressures in the pocket. Even when he would roll to his right or roll to his left, there was somebody there. And I just wonder if you're I'm just rewatching the game from earlier this season. If you're Sean and you're that defensive staff, are you saying to yourself, okay, this is how we get to Sam. This is how we disrupt that offense. I wonder if that's the blueprint right now.
It was October. But they lost to the Rams. One of their losses was to the Rams. The blueprint thing totally makes sense because we see that happen often.
Copycat league, right?
Exactly. I wouldn't say all the time. We see it happen often. But the other thing too, Arash, I was trying to get my head around, and I brought this up to Alan and Colson when I came in on Monday. It is hard to believe that a 14 win team has to now play the wild card game and go on the road.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And here you could have had a 9-win team hosting a playoff game. But that's been this season. It's been a wild NFL year. I think that for whomever wins, suddenly you go Monday night in LA and then you're going to play Sunday in Detroit. I think that's going to be another disadvantage. But I'll tell you this, Barney. I've been in a lot of stadiums and a lot of venues and a lot of like arenas. I have and this is not recency bias. I have never been in a place as loud as Ford Field was on Sunday.
Really? Eminem. That's why.
It was everything. First TV timeout, they brought out Calvin Johnson. Second TV timeout, they brought out Barry Sanders. A TV timeout in the second quarter, the Portland Trailblazers happened to be in town. Chauncey Billups, who led the Pistons to the 2004 championship in Detroit, he brings the house down. The Lose Yourself, and then Eminem, and then the pièce de résistance. I don't know if this came up on TV or not. 17-9 in the fourth quarter. Vikes have 3rd and long, and they put Aiden Hutchinson up on the big screen. And the crescendo was just deafening. Darnold gets sacked, game over. That is a real home field advantage because teams can't communicate. They can't change plays, all that kind of stuff. Detroit's going to be a real tough out. On top of it all, that home field is real.
Arash, you were reminding me of an all-time baseball game that I attended. It was Omar Vizquel's last game with the Toronto Blue Jays. It was in 2012, and I sat beside one Arash Madani at the game.
Yes.
I've been meaning to bring that up forever. No, it was the very last game of the year.
Last game, okay.
Very last one. We got tickets through Ticketmaster. I was working with the Hamilton Bulldogs, the American Hockey League at the time. And every time I'm here and you're on, I want to bring up the fact that some 12, 13 years ago, we sat beside each other at a Blue Jays game. And while we're on the Blue Jays, the USA Today is reporting the team and Vladdy are over $100 million apart. Are we concerned for our Bluebirds?
I think so, for a few reasons. So the number that the Blue Jays have offered Vlad is apparently $340 million. And this is after they were in the Ohtani and Soto sweepstakes, where the first number started with a 7. So more than double. And the Blue Jays organizational mismanagement has allowed it to get to this point. Like, that's the problem. Like, you have a homegrown asset. How are you now a year away from free agency? But more than that, Vlad has said when spring training starts, and Kellen, we're 5 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting in Dunedin. Vlad has said when he shows up to camp, negotiations are done. So they have themselves a 5-week window, and $100 million is still $100 million. I actually thought it'd be more. But it's bad. It's really bad.
When you talk about sort of like you talk about the mismanagement of the Blue Jays, are they like harboring on or getting pretty close to the fact where they almost have to give a blank check? They almost have to say to Vladdy, you know what? Whatever you want, we need to pay you, or we're going to completely lose our fan base here soon? Or do you think they're either too stubborn or don't need to go that far and rebuild it again? Like everybody's, moving on here.
I wonder, Kellen, and I mean this sincerely, I really wonder if they realize they're in the entertainment business. Like this is a front office so caught up in spin rate and collaboration and all the analytics and all of this and all of that and all their projections. This is still an industry where the fan base needs to be invested. They need to care. They want to have a reason, and they want to be entertained. And it's a front office that's you talk about the stubbornness. They've been so stubborn on pitching and defense, run prevention. People aren't showing up to watch ground balls. People want to be entertained. People want to see the ball in the air and the ball go over the fence. They want to see runs. They want their star, their homegrown star that they bought the jersey of, that they followed since he, broke into the big leagues at the age of 19. They want to see that. And I just think there's such a disconnect between the front office and the fan base, and they're going to realize very quickly that there are not just plenty of good seats still available, there are plenty of good sections still available.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I go back to the NFL now?
Yeah, Barney wants to go back to the NFL.
Sorry, I'm bored.
Sorry, super quickly, Arash, at the end point there, and this won't require a response, so Barney's going to get to go to the NFL at the end of this, but like you talk about, the entertainment business, it's a wonder that the highlights that we consistently see of the Blue Jays are Joe Carter, 93, Batista, 2015, Robbie Alomar, 92. But I'm just wondering when we're going to, maybe they want us to show more highlights of Juan Guzman spinning one in, 93, or Dave Stewart in the ALCS.
Give me a little Kelly Gruber.
Kelly
Working
Gruber,
the hot corner.
again, home run. 92 World Series with the chop.
How about some Lloyd Mosby?
I don't got anything. That's before my time.
He just wants to see the mullets. That's what he wants to see. He wants to see John Olerud wearing the helmet playing first base.
John Olerud had bad salad, though. That was a bad mullet. At least Gruber's was all curly. Looked like a Kurt Harnett out there on the hot corner. Okay, let's go to NFL here. 'Cause that's
Okay.
we go old school Blue Jays for how long? We played. Are we going to play the actual interview, or do you want to? Can we play it for people just to give them context? The Tyreek Hill post game. Okay, here we go. What an
How do you
idiot!
feel about not getting to 1,000 yards this season?
I mean, it is what it is, man. It's life, man. You know, I feel like at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that, you know, I need to reassess, you know, about, you know, my career and, you know, just see what I need to do, you know, to continue to get better, you know, as a player, so I can continue to, like, reach that 1,000-yard mark, so.
As a captain, what is the message you have to these guys in the offseason if you don't feel this at the end of the season next week?
I don't even know, bro. You know, this is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here or that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but you know, at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for, you know, for my career and, you know, what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, you know, just
Does that mean
it's out there.
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, yes.
It is just so much of that I just despise. Not that I was ever a Tyreek Hill fan, but
Okay,
man.
like hold on, Tyreek. You say you're a competitor and you want to win.
Yeah.
Well, you were catching balls from Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowls.
Exactly.
I don't begrudge you wanting to go get paid somewhere. Okay? You have a limited amount of time to make the amount of money that you're going to make. So you chose to sign that deal in Miami. Now, and I've thought about this. If you look at the last, say, 25 years, the 2000s, there are few franchises in all of professional sports who have been worse, who have been so unaccomplished than the Miami Dolphins. Number of playoff wins by the Miami Dolphins in the 2000s, 0.
Wow.
You knew what you were getting yourself into, and your quarterback can't stay healthy. And if it's not the concussions, it's an ankle. And if it's not this, it's not that. But Tyreek, you took the bag, and you took it knowing what this was going to be. And now changing his profile photo to put his head over Antonio Brown's body, saying see ya. Look, I know what the Dolphins are doing. They're saying we had exit meetings and everything's fine now. They're just trying to preserve any kind of trade value. But yeah,
I don't want. Like, he so reminds me of that Antonio Brown mold.
Yeah.
Now, after hearing that, it's like, dude, you're a competitor. You took the bag like you said. Now you're acting like an absolute jackass, immature. And did the guy ask him as a captain on this team? Is he a captain?
Yes.
What a loser. Like, I don't know. It'll be interesting who touches them. I bet you we could really go 5 teams that are going to get involved in that smoke right
Raiders.
there.
I was going to say Raiders, yeah.
Jets. Yeah.
Possibly Cleveland Browns.
Right. New York Giants, maybe.
Maybe. Raiders again. Raiders will double down.
Right.
What about our New England Patriots?
Shut up. Leave them out of it. They got enough issues.
Here's a question. Who's the next coach of the Patriots?
You know what?
Byron Leftwich.
Oh, God.
You know what I heard today? It wasn't on a Boston station. It was just on a national one from down there. Pete Carroll.
Oh, boy.
I was actually at the gym. I almost fell off the unit I was on. And I said, is that even possible?
Here's the bigger question. What unit were you on?
Big old school rowing machine guy. Yeah. Trying to.
I thought it was the sauna. Like Pete Carroll's trying to get his name out there anywhere. It started with Chicago, now New England. Like to me, it's Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson, I would have to think. Brian Flores today said he'd be interested in going back. But
It's got to be Vrabel.
But what if Vrabel goes somewhere else? Like Vrabel's going to be able to call a shot. And this is what New England has going for it. They have Drake May, who took real steps forward this year as a rookie, and they have some cap space.
Huge cap space.
But the idea that Mike Vrabel is going to get a real kind of runway here as coach, like they just fired Gerard Mayo after 1 year. And Mayo was part of the Kraft Mafia and was part of the Patriot Way, and he had it in writing that he was going to be Belichick's successor. I just think these guys had so much success early that they're delusional of who and what they are right now.
I agree. I am not delusional. I agree with all that. So let's leave the Patriots to burn over in that corner, and let's move on to playoff football.
Yes.
Well, if you don't want to talk about New England, let's talk about the rest of the AFC. No, the playoffs begin this weekend. The easy teams to back: Kansas City, Detroit, Philly, Buffalo. But I think you and I are thinking the same direction here. Tell us about who your pick is.
Mine's Baltimore, guys, and I'd be a lot more confident in the Ravens if Zay Flowers was healthy. But it just seems that the Ravens are kind of off the grid, and I don't understand it. Here's a team that's won its last 4 ball games. They went out and got Derrick Henry this offseason, and oh, by the way, he just has 2,000 all-purpose yards this year, and it would have been a lot more, but they rested him.
Yes.
Last couple of weeks.
Smart.
Like Lamar put together an MVP season. Like he just became the first to throw for 4,000 and rush for 900. He has over 40 touchdowns and only 4 picks. And their defense is the best rush defense in football. And they've only given up 43 points in the last 4 games. Like it's just everything to me is saying Baltimore is the best built team going into the playoffs, except their number 1 receiver is hurt. That's what gives me pause.
Is there any way? Can we write this down? Where's our hot take pad? Chargers beat Houston.
Yes.
Chargers upset Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3rd divisional game. It's just the Chargers haven't beaten anybody this year. You know,
Harbaugh, though, man, his weirdness and his game planning, and he's seen them and now twice. I just, for some reason, and maybe it's because of my disdain for the Chiefs, as I've made public on this forum before. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. I mean, because you know what's going to happen? Buffalo, Baltimore are going to meet, and that is going to be a ring-a-ding-dong dandy.
Is it ever? Is it ever? Is it ever? Don't you guys just get the sense that this is it for Kansas City's, like this era, like the Andy Reid era, the Chris Jones, Travis Kelce era, like
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's going to write a song about it, and it's going to rock it to number 1.
I wonder what the title of the song would be. But I don't know. KC's just gotten by the skin of their teeth over and over again, and I'm just not sold on Kansas City this year.
That's why I'm thinking Chargers, man, upset, book it, hot take. If I'm wrong, who cares?
If you're wrong, who cares? Sure.
I feel bad. Like we talked about, I feel bad for your Vikings in the situation that they're in. And then you brought up the good point on the winner of that game's got to go all the way the next Sunday to Detroit. Really, the game that it could end up being an unreal football game. Personally, my what meter is at 0 on is Washington, Tampa, and then Green Bay and Philly being weird Philly with Sirianni or whatever. He's not given that Hurts is a full-gone conclusion to play this game. Got to think he is, but man, and then somebody's out for Green Bay that's key right now.
Christian Watson, the receiver, just got an ACL. Their top corner, Jair Alexander, is out. I just also get the sense that Green Bay is kind of coming apart at the seams. They just kind of hit that wall a couple of weeks ago. Look, Jalen Hurts now, it's been 2.5 weeks with the concussion. A lot of signs point that he's going to play. And I would suspect that him playing, a lot of this is going to be Saquon Barkley left and Saquon Barkley right and Saquon Barkley middle. But yeah, they need him healthy. Look, if he's healthy, I think Philadelphia is on a collision course to end up in Detroit. I really do. But they've been a weird team all year, always drama.
Philadelphia Chargers Super Bowl. Don't book it.
I was going to say bet on it this time, Barney.
No.
Look, obviously I'm rooting for my Vikings to beat the Rams on Monday night. But if that doesn't happen, here's what I'm rooting for. There is a possibility still that the Rams and the Chargers could both host the NFC and AFC championship game, and they share the same stadium. So what would then have to happen is that one of the games would be Sunday and one of the games would be Monday.
Move one to the Coliseum.
Nah, it'll be at SoFi. There's way too much money.
But isn't that an interesting nugget that probably they never thought about that happening at the Meadowlands, because as if the Jets and Giants were ever going to be in the dance together. Yeah, that would be. I'm rooting for that now. Sorry.
Like we all root for chaos.
Yes. What would they do? One Saturday, one Sunday then?
I think one Sunday, one Monday, because you have the extra week, right? The Super Bowl has between the conference championship.
But Monday?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would think they would go Saturday, Sunday.
I just think it's you want to give them ample rest.
That would take so much chaos for that to happen as 4 and 5 seeds on either side. Yeah. But as an Easterner, I'm pulling for a Detroit Buffalo Super Bowl.
There you go. This is what's amazing about the NFL is it really doesn't matter size of market. We're going to watch anyway. You know, if it's let's just say Detroit, if Cincinnati was still in it, like who's going to watch the Tigers and the Reds play a game? But suddenly, if it's Lions, Bengals in the Super Bowl, hey, sign me up.
Buffalo, I'm trying to figure out something that's similar. That they would be the Lions,
Sabres, Red Wings, right? Like who's watching that?
And the Buffalo. Wow, it would be two franchises that have just been drugged through everything possible and beat up and heartbroken and then heartbroken again and then beat up again, and they just both come out of dumpsters and they go, let's go. That would be awesome, actually. There's so many good ones. Okay, we'll regroup on Thursday. We got another full day to talk about things. It'll be way more Blue Jay talk on Thursday. Just kidding. Okay, well, I'm glad. Like I said, I'm serious. I'm glad you're safe. You never sent me the picture of the hotel bottle opener.
No, I didn't. I did.
All right.
It was actually a little nicer than I thought it was going to be.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
See you guys.
Coast to Coast with Arash Madani. For Brian Gawley and Smart Investing Solutions. Let's take a quick break. It is a Sports Cage streaming at sportscage.com.